Hello, this is Michael from VR Game Truck Nebraska. I just want to do a quick video about an educational VR experience. Um, I already did a video, and you can look through it. And what I do for entertainment VR, if especially for large events like fairs and stuff like that, I have a rotation system for that I explained in depth. And it has, and then I charge $500 for the first hour, $200 for additional hours, and a driving fee $100 per an hour and 75 cents a mile. It's the way I price that. You can price however you want, but that's what I do. It's easy. I found people around here, when it's itemized, it's a lot easier to show them my cost, and it's easier to get booked and for them to see that the price is good. Then for educational VR, I do it at half the rate, but the rule is I'm not doing any rotation. It's got to be set groups of no more than 24 per an hour. And then instead of entertainment VR, we do educational VR, a title. We get through that. Everybody gets a chance on the educational VR title. Then if there's time at the end, I might do some VR games. But it's not guaranteed, and it's not guaranteed that everybody will get on that game, to get to play a VR game. And sometimes we don't get to it at all because I barely have enough time to get through the educational VR. So, and then there's still console-friendly family gaming. So I have usually 3 TVs set up with 18 people on the bench. So I have Mario Kart in the first station, Turtles usually in the third, because I have 6 players, and then Smash on the end with 8 players, and that's up to 18. If I have a little less and I don't have to go to 24, I will vary the third station, and I will put on different thing, and they're all sitting anyway, so you could use 2 and 4 too for educational VR, because for this they're all going to be usually sitting. So however you want to do it, whatever games you want to put on the TV, but that's what I do. And let the kids pick the games that they want to do. And some other popular games that I put on the TVs might be Minecraft Dungeons, ARMS, Mario Wonders is popular. Just I kind of look around and see what the kids are interested in that time. Especially when I do summer camp and we do multiple days, I'll switch the console games up a little bit to give them different things to play. But then the entertainment VR, if this is the first time, the educational VR, this is the first time this client is booked, I make them choose one of them. And then if they booked multiple times, the students might have done it before, so then I let them do student choice. But I try to stay with the PS VR1 educational VR. So the titles, because it's a lot easier to do because it's hooked up to the TV. So the titles I do, and what I highly recommend, at least you add into your program, are these titles. And I can say it's highly worth it to get these events. I have $10,000 worth of events this year so far that I would not have otherwise. You put educational in front of it, they can get grants, and there's more opportunities for them to get your game truck out there and pay for it than they would have otherwise. Just putting that word educational in front of it, the school or library might be able to get a grant and not be reliant just on their normal funds, which makes it more likely for you to get hired for something new like that. So I have I have $10,000 worth of events this year. I would not have otherwise if I did not develop this program like this. So the VR that I offer is there's Very VR. There's 2 programs you can buy on the PlayStation. It's just like going on, like I tell people, it's like going on African safari. You get to see animals up close. So you just get to see animals up close. Some of them you can feed them and interact. It's just a really basic thing, but it's cool in VR. Apollo 11 is the next one. That one is really cool. If you have time to go through the whole thing, it's pretty awesome. If I don't have a lot of time, only 8 to 10 minutes, because I got to get through a lot of people, and I need to rotate, I will put them on. I will skip to the Walk on the Moon chapter and let them do that, so I can get them off in 8 minutes. I will just keep track of that and rotate. Whatever I have, I will divide it out, so I make sure I get through my groups of 24 within an hour or 90 minutes, whatever I have. And then, I have 4 stations set up at the Cubbies, and then my aircraft is an extra station for education VR. So instead of the Thrustmaster controller, I just give them a DualShock, because all these games you're going to be using DualShock on PSVR 1, and they're sitting down. Some other good ones are Titanic VR, and then Legend of the Crow is a good one if you have more time or a smaller group. you'll need at least 90 minutes or a smaller group, because you don't want to quit in the middle of that one. You want it to go the whole time, because it's a story to get the whole effect of it, and it's about 24 minutes, and it's a great little story. It's done well about how the crow lost its feathers and got black feathers. So it's a very cool story. Now, when I got my trailer, I did get the Oculus headsets with it, so I do use those. I have some educational programs that are installed, a few games, and Jesus VR. So I use that less. I wish I've done a few Jesus VR events. It keeps getting less and less. It's just harder to get churches excited about it. I don't know. I've had more success with doing my entertainment VR with fairs and other stuff at schools and my birthday parties that I've gotten tired trying to deal with churches. If I get hired from a church, it's usually for a bigger, like a carnival, and then they want entertainment VR. So I don't do much with Jesus VR. But if you want stuff on the Oculus, I'm sure there's lots of stuff. I just don't like to use it because it's harder to hook up to the TV, at least for cheap. Nowadays, I think they're compatible with the PC, and the PSVR 2 is going to be compatible with the PC. I just don't want to go that route, because to buy a like a computer that's compatible with virtual reality, it's like $1,000, and I don't want to do that on every station. I've been upgrading the PlayStations, and that's the PS5s, so that's $500. That's much more reasonable. And as long as PlayStation continues to support VR and be working on it in a reasonable manner. Some people get upset with them because they don't think they're going fast enough, but I think they're doing fine. As long as they keep it up and they keep up developing stuff, I'll be happy with them. And it's my favorite VR so far. I really like the PSVR 2 headset. Especially for my own use, especially I love the games on it. I'm getting better at it. It does have some annoying things with calibration that you'll have to maybe calibrate it more, but I found that I can get people through calibration a lot faster than I used to, and get things fixed. So I'm using it. Right now I just have 2 of them, and I use them on 1 and 3 as sitting, but I might have to have them stand up to calibrate, because it's faster to calibrate, I think, standing up. Anyway, so I was talking about the Oculus titles. Some good ones. Apollo 11 and Rainbow Crow are on the Oculus as well. But then there's Anne Frank, that's a good one. There's World Traveler, puts you in a location, you got to guess what it is. That's a good one. There's Wonderful You, which is the development of Baby. I wish that was on PSVR 1, just like Jesus VR, and I would use it more. I think that's a really good one, and I'm sad it's just on Oculus, because I really like that one. There's the Ancient Civilizations one, and those are, and there's probably more. I haven't, I got those when I first started 5 years ago, and I've kept them. I intro to virtual reality too, and I haven't really done much research since then, because like I said, when I run these events, I try to keep them to the PlayStation VR unless they specifically ask for something, and then I will adjust to it if they absolutely want to. And I'll explain that it takes more time for me to do that, but I'm more than welcome to do that as long as they give me the time to do it. So, because I saw the headsets, and I'll pull them out, but it is more hassle, and I got to test them before they go out more. The Oculus Go's tend to crash more and not load up, and then I have to reinstall everything, and it drives me nuts, and I do not like that. So I've been dealing with them less and less, and if it ever gets to the point that I can't get the Oculus Go's to not work at all, I will completely drop support on those completely, and I probably won't do anything with Oculus anymore, unless I see something worthwhile and putting the money in that I will get money out of, like I do my other programs. But you're going to already have PlayStation VR, probably, so you might as well install these few things, call it an educational VR experience, and you could get, it might work for you, especially if you're struggling to get events at schools and other places. If I contact every librarian in my area in Iowa, South Dakota, and Nebraska. It's really the ones I get most are the ones that are closer, because the further away it starts to be too expensive for them. But if they're within 2 to 3 hours for me, they can usually afford it within their budget. So, and or they can find a way to afford it. So I get a lot of those. So like I said, I have $10,000 worth of events and the busiest time I have is the summer. It's the winter that I slow down. I actually make more money from doing fairs and public events and these educational events for schools, these educational VR events for schools, and summer reading programs, the summer camps that I do for my birthday parties. Every year I try to work on my birthday. I get birthday parties, but I try to work on it every year to get more and more to kind of get to maximize that income. But right now I make more with the other stuff, and if I didn't have those, I want to be able to exist in this area. But that's what I recommend. You have, like I said, I don't think you really need to go into Jesus VR. I like to have it because I'm a Christian, but the educational VR is a great moneymaker as well as entertainment VR. So I would have, if I had a trailer like Lee's set up that way, I would have, it's a no-brainer to me to at least have those two experiences and have something like have your educational VR as a discount and be able to get out. And they're really easy events to do. I mean, they're even easy. The kids are so well behaved most of the time. They're so easier to do than birthday parties. You have a set group. And it's very, very easy to do because there's even less choice. You're only worried about the console games and usually one VR title. And even if you're doing student choice, it's limited titles. My cat's coming to say hi. Say hi, big boy. So anyway, I would highly recommend, if you haven't put it in, to have the educational VR put into your programs, because you can make a good amount of money doing that depending on where you're at. Like I said, I make $10,000. I'm making $10,000 this year so far, and that's just so far what I have on the books. I don't know what I'll get by the end of the year. So I highly, highly recommend educational VR program for your VR game truck. Anyway, please stay tuned in other videos. I'm going to do videos about how I do birthday parties and my pricing, and I will do videos on advertising thoughts and the way I price things, the things you could do to reach out to clients that you might not have thought about, but what I've done to try to get to be successful. I am not rich by any means, but I can pay my bills with this business, which I couldn't when I first started. I went from barely earning like anything during COVID, it was a pain, to now I can pay my bills. I don't have anything extra right now because everything goes back into the business. But anything I have extra to approve it, because there's things I want to do. I want to add more VR, PlayStation VR headsets, PSVR 2. I really like to add laser tag at one time, especially if I can get one of my kids to run it at the same time as we're doing the game truck, if they're willing, because they're older. I have a 17 and 18-year-old. Because I know I could think of ways that we can make extra money doing that. I just can't do two things at once. So anyway, thank you very much for watching my video. Again, highly, if you don't have it, educational VR is an awesome tool in the tool belt if you want to make some more money, especially with school, and get more involved, especially with schools and libraries. I've had a lot of success with. Anyway, thank you very much. You guys have a great day.